Hello everyone and welcome, it's Shanna. Now today we're going to be playing along with this cute stamp set from Craft and Kimmy. This is another video with Craft and Kimmy materials. This is called Good Time and Tan Lines, and it's super cute. A little boy, little girl in a little beachy scene. And so I'm just going to lay these down on my Misty and I'm going to get them all stamped up. I'm doing my little cheat method where I leave them on the carrier sheet, and it just makes for easy stamping and easy cleanup of all the elements. So I'm going to bring in my Memento black ink pad and get these inked up and stamped down because I'm going to use some alcohol markers to color. And Memento ink is safe for alcohol. You don't have to worry about bleeding with it. So we'll get it inked up real well, stamp it down, and then we'll do some coloring. So there we have it. It looks good. And I'm going to bring in some new alcohol markers that my friend Shannon Smith at Cards by Shannon Smith had sent to me. Actually, she sent me 2 large cases of these alcohol markers, and she also sent me the swatch sheets where she swatched them all out with their numbers so that I could reference it, and that was really helpful. So I do have her swatch sheet laying off to the side, and I am using it as a reference to select my colors. So I've sped this coloring up. I'm going to play some music, and then we'll come back and talk about the card. Okay, so I'm just finishing up my coloring here, and I have got this panel that was in my stash that had already been ink blended up, and I thought I would use it for my background for this scene. And I've also taken some of this Dune cardstock from Spellbinders, and I'm cut it to look like a little beachy scene. I used some of my just decorative dies and just gave it a little edge on it. These are actually kind of little fancy dies. I don't really have like a water dye. I just took some of my little fancy dies and used these to create like a sand scene. And I wanted a couple layers. So I'm just going to, I took my vintage photo ink and just inked up that panel just to kind of give it, look like maybe the water had created, wetness on my sand, and so I've got some darker areas. And now I'm just trying to fiddle with this and figure out how I want to create my little levels of sand. And I'm laying my little people on here just to kind of get a feel for it. And I've decided I want to stamp my sentiment on here before I lay everything down. So I'm just going to bring in my stamp set, pull off my sentiment, and get it inked up. Now, it didn't stick, so I'm going to have to do that again. And then we'll just put our sentiment on here, and then we'll be good to go. And I wanted to use my Misty because I just don't trust using acrylic block when I've already got this panel ready to go. So it inked up just fine, and I'm just going to clean it up, put it away, and then we'll build the rest of our card. So I'm going to get these sandy areas laid down on here. And I kind of thought like the edge of the water was lighter blue, and then it kind of moved into the darker, or it could be this water into the sky. I don't know. I just thought this panel has been laying in my basket, and it's already inked up and ready to go, so I'm going to use it. So we'll just get the sand laid down on here, and then we'll be able to bring in our fun little elements. I decided to, because I'm going to lay it on top of that other piece of heavy cardstock, I got some really thin foam strips here, and I'm just going to lay it on the bottom, and that'll help level my card off. And then I've got it laying on there kind of wonky, and I'm just going to grab my scissors and just trim away what I don't need. And we've created a nice little scene here. So I'm going to figure out how I want to lay all of my people down. Right now I'm bringing in my card base, and this is where I kind of make some mistakes, and you'll see me remedy it in the end. So I brought in this green and white polka dot paper thinking it would kind of tie the color in that I have on the ball. And I lay this down, and then later I don't like it at all. So I'm going to go ahead and lay it down on here, and we'll build the scene, and then we'll come back and make some changes. You can see my little beach ball there. It's got that green in it, and that's kind of why I selected this polka dot pattern paper. And I didn't get it laid down on there straight. It's crooked, and I've got more on one side than the other. I was just having total issues with my selection of paper and how I laid my panel down. I really like my panel and my scene once I get it created, but this panel is just a mess. So I'll get everything laid down on here. I'll let you watch me do that, and then we'll just rip it apart. I thought it'd be cute to have the little bucket or the little shovel in his hand since he's holding the bucket, and give her the ice cream cone. And I think he looks dirty, like he has sand on him, just because of the way I colored him. And so he's going to be the sandcastle builder with the shovel and the bucket and the sandcastle. And she's going to be all nice and clean with her ice cream cone and her little raft that she's got around her little floaty that she's got around her waist, and then the little beach ball. So I think it's a cute stamp set. It's a cute little scene. I'm going to lay my starfish down there, and I didn't use my little splash, my water splash. Now here I'm going to color. They've got the white edge where I fussy cut, and I'm going to color in the background to match my panel. So I'm using some different colors. I'm using some green for their arms and heads, and then some sandy color for the stuff that's laying on the sandy area. And that way the white will just blend back into my background color, and I like that better than having the white edge on it. So that's what I'm doing here. Now I finished this up here, and we went to dinner, and then I came back and I decided I didn't like it. So I took it to my guillotine, and I couldn't guillotine it because my bucket and my ball and her arm is kind of hanging over the panel. So then I decided I needed to grab my big Tim Holtz scissors and just kind of cut around there and just cut this back off. I'm cutting the card base with pattern paper right off of it. and I'm struggling with it a little bit, and I kind of make some wonky cuts, so I'll have to straighten it up with my guillotine and then try and straighten it up with my scissors. Here I'm using my bone folder to just flatten my ball back out so that it's not bent. And then I'm using my scissors to just cut away areas that are crooked, that I think are crooked. And now I'm going to start over with my card base. And I'm still in between. I bring in a white card base, and then I see this card base that's laying in my little card base thing, and I thought, well, that color could work. And I'm kind of eyeballing it, trying to decide if I want to use it. And I just can't make up my mind. So I'm going to grab my white card base and lay it on there, and I'm just going to kind of study it for a minute. Do I want it on the turquoise or do I want it on the white? And I'm just fussing around trying to decide what to do. And I'm like, I don't know, what's going to make it better? So then I bring in a white panel and I emboss it with a splash embossing folder. It looks like water splashes. And I'm still debating, trying to decide. And I'm just deciding I'm going to go with the white, with the embossed panel. And we'll just get it laid down on here. And we'll have more of a clean look to our card. So I've got my embossed panel laid down on there, and then I'm just going to lay this down. And I'm going to decide to go with this. And it looks more clean. And you can kind of focus on, the stamped and colored elements more than the background paper. And here I'm just bringing in some enamel dots. I thought I had some space there that could use something, so I'm just going to lay some enamel dots down, and that'll finish up the card. And I'm more happy with it on the white. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.